Assalamualaikum and good day to our respected lecturer, Sir Firdaus Ramli. Today, our group will be presenting on the topic of idealism, a major theoretical framework in international relations that highlight peace, cooperation, and the role of moral values. Idealism promotes the idea that diplomacy, international law, and ethical governance can lead to lasting global stability. Let us now begin by introducing the members of our group.
Firstly, my name is Zamarul Aiman bin Zurimi. Allow me to introduce the members of our team who have collaboratively prepared this presentation. This is Group 3, which consists of 5 members, which are Aizat Aiman bin Muhammad Azman, Putri Juna Afaf binti Megat Kamaruzaman, Muhammad Ashraf bin Aziri, and Muhammad Faiz Aiman bin Khairul Osman. Together, we are committed to delivering our presentation with clarity, depth, and full academic integrity. Moving forward, I will now explain the overall structure of our presentation. To provide a clear roadmap, allow me to briefly outline the structure of our presentation. We will begin with an introduction of idealism and discuss its founding figure, followed by a look at its definition and key concepts. From there, we will analyze the theory's main argument and characteristics, as well as its impact on international systems. We will also discuss the lesson learned from idealism and finally compare it with other international relation theories such as realism, liberalism, and Marxism. Next, let us proceed with an overview of idealism as a theory.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Sir Firdaus Ramli, I am Putri Jana Afaf binti Megat Kamaruzaman. Today I will be presenting on the introduction. Let us begin with the foundational understanding of idealism. Idealism is a theory grounded in the belief that global peace and cooperation are not likely possible, but can be achieved through diplomacy, moral value, and adherence to international law. This theory came recognition after World War I, when global leaders began searching for an alternative to power politics and military conflict. One of the leading idealists, President Woodrow Wilson, captured the spirit of the theory when he declared the world must be safe for the democracy. His words reflect the idealist commitment to ethical leadership, justice, and equality as central principle for maintaining peace in the international system.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to Sir Firdaus. My name is Aizat Aiman bin Muhammad Azman and my metric numbers is 2024-806-584. So, now I will explain the individual who laid the foundation for idealism, which is known as the founding father of the idealism. The founding father of idealism is widely recognized as President Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States. Following the First World War, Wilson presented his 14-point speech in 1918, in which he advocated for open diplomacy, self-determination, and the creation of an international peacekeeping body. His vision directly led to the formation of the League of Nations in 1920, although the League ultimately failed to prevent another World War. It represented a major step in institutionalizing idealist values of the global level. Wilson believed in moral principle, international law, and democratic governance became the philosophical roots of idealism in international relations. Next, I will explain the definition of idealism in international relations. Idealism is a theory grounded in the belief that peace and cooperation among nations are not only desirable but achievable. It emphasized that international politics should be guided by moral values, ethical leadership, and adherence to international law rather than a competition for power or self-interest. According to the idealist thinkers, war is not inevitable. Instead, it's a result of poor communication, distrust, and the absence of effective institutions. Idealism argues that with the right values, diplomacy, and global frameworks in place, countries can resolve disputes peacefully and work toward collective progress. A significant historical example of idealism thinking is the creation of the League of Nations after World War I. Although the League failed to prevent future conflict, it reflected a serious effort to institutionalize peace through dialogues and share responsibility ideas central to idealism. In essence, idealism views peaceful global order not as abstract dream but as a realistic goal that can be achieved through the ethical conduct of a state. Now, that we understand the definition of idealism, let us proceed to examine the theory key concept in greater detail. Moving on, I will continue by explaining the key concept that form the foundation of idealism. The first key concept is that peace is possible and war is not natural or unavoidable outcome. Idealists believe that through moral action and peaceful dialogue, states can avoid conflict and build trust. The second concept is the importance of moral value such as justice, equality, freedom, and human rights. Idealism encourages states to adopt this value in their foreign policy to ensure fairness and reduce hostility in international interactions. Third, idealism strongly supports the use of international law, legal framework, create order, ensure consistency, and provide peaceful solution to disputes. When nations respect international law, the global system becomes more predictable and just. Fourth, idealism advocates for the role of global institutions such as the United Nations and the Historical League of Nations. These institutions promote peace by facilitating communication, enforcing agreements, and holding states accountable. The fifth key concept is collective security, which is the idea that all states share responsibility for maintaining peace. An example of this NATO, where an attack on one member is considered an attack on all, demonstrating unity against aggressions. Lastly, idealism emphasizes democracy and human rights. The theory argues that democratic countries, which are built on accountability and respect for rights, are less likely to go to war, especially with each other. The European Union reflects this principle by fostering peace through democratic cooperation and shared values among member states. This key concept shows that idealism is not just a theory about what ought to be, but a practical guide for building peace through values, laws, and global cooperation. So now I will pass to next presenter who will explain the main arguments and characteristics that future define the idealist approach.
We shall now examine the main arguments and defining features of idealism. To begin, idealism proposes that war is not an unavoidable outcome of international politics. It argues that many conflicts arise from miscommunication, mistrust, or lack of dialogue. Diplomatic solutions are not only possible, but often more effective than the use of force. A notable example is the Camp David Accords of 1978, which brought peace between Egypt and Israel through negotiation. Next, idealism highlights the value of international cooperation in solving global issues. The Paris Agreement on Climate Change in 2015 reflects the idealist belief in collective responsibility. Idealism also supports education and cultural exchange as tools for building trust. The Fulbright program is one such initiative that helps foster mutual understanding between countries. Furthermore, idealism maintains that human beings are capable of kindness and ethical behavior. The International Committee of the Red Cross, which continues to provide humanitarian aid even during conflicts, demonstrates this idealist view of human nature. Finally, idealism advocates for the use of international law to resolve disputes and maintain global stability. The International Court of Justice is a key example of this principle in action. Let us now proceed to explore the real-world impact of idealism on the international system.
Now, I will explore the significant impact of idealism on the global stage. One of the most visible effects of idealist thinking has been the creation of international organizations aimed at promoting peace and cooperation. A prime example is the United Nations, which was founded in 1945 based on principles very similar to those of the early League of Nations. The UN continues to be a platform for negotiation, peacekeeping, and collective action, an embodiment of idealist hopes for a stable world order. Idealism also helped shape the foundation of international human rights. The adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 reflects idealism's belief in global dignity and moral responsibility. It sets standards for freedom, equality, and justice that countries worldwide are expected to uphold. Furthermore, idealism promotes resolving conflicts through diplomacy. The Camp David Summit in 2000, where Israeli and Palestinian leaders engage in peace talks, illustrate this approach. Although the summit did not produce a final peace deal, it showed Idealism's preference for negotiation over violence. In addition, Idealism encouraged multilateralism, which is the idea that global problems should be solved collectively. A strong example is the World Health Organization (WHO) coordination of global responses during the COVID-19 pandemic, where countries work together to share data and develop vaccines. Finally, Idealism supports the idea that democratic governance leads to peaceful international relations. The European Union exemplifies this idealist belief by promoting cooperation among democratic states, helping to maintain peace on the continent. Now that we have examined idealist impact, let us turn to the lesson that can be learned from both its success and limitations.
Next is I will present on the key lesson we can learn from the application of idealism in international relations. Firstly, while moral values are essential to idealist theory, they are not enough on their own to maintain peace. There must be a strong enforcement mechanism in place. For example, the League of Nations, despite its ethical ambition, failed to prevent World War II because it lacked the power to stop aggressive states from violating international norms. Secondly, idealism shows us the need for strong international institutions. Organizations like the United Nations Security Council demonstrate how idealist principles can only be effective when supported by legal authorities and enforcement capabilities. The Security Council can impose sanctions and authorize peacekeeping missions, essential tools for ensuring the ideals and upheld in practice. Thirdly, idealism teaches us the importance of building trust between nations. This is not always easy, especially where there are historical grievances or conflicting interests. However, the nuclear deal of 2015 demonstrated that through consistent diplomacy and engagement, trust can be built over time and to reduce tensions. Fourthly, idealism highlights the need to address the root cause of conflict, such as poverty, inequality, and injustice. These are underlying issues. If left unresolved, can lead to further instability. A strong example is South Africa Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which helped the nation heal after apartheid by focusing on truth, justice, and forgiveness. Finally, idealism underscores the value of including non-state actors in global affairs. Organizations like Amnesty International play a major role in monitoring human rights and encouraging government to act ethically. Their work reinforces idealist goals and broadens the scope of influence beyond state actors. Now that we have examined this lesson, let us proceed to compare idealism with other dominant theories in international relations.
So now, we compare the idealism with three other influence theory, which is realism, liberalism, and Marxism. To begin with, the realism and the idealism are the fundamental opposed, while idealism emphasizes more value and cooperative. Realism view international relationship as a struggle for power and survival. Realists believe that the state act primarily in self-interest and conflict is inevitable due to the anarchic nature of the international system. An example of this is the Cold War, where both the United States and the Soviet Union viewed military alliance to compete for dominance. In contrast, idealists promote peace through diplomacy and legal institutions. The next, liberalism shares same similarity with the idealism, such as its support for democracy and international cooperative. However, international liberalism focuses more on economic interdependence and benefit of the trade, as well as freedom and institutional governance. The European Union reflects liberal idea through its political and economic integration, while the United Nations more closely aligned with the idealist emphasis of ethics, justice, and peace. In the contrast, Marxism offers a difficult explanation for conflict. It argues that international tensions stem from economic inequality and the dominance of capitalist nations. Marxism believes that the global system is the structure to exploit poor countries, and the real peace can only come through a radical transformation of the economic order.
A historical example is colonialism in the African, where European power extracts resources and impose control, while idealism seeks peace through the reform and diplomacy. Marxism called for revolution and structure change. To summarize, each theory presents a unique worldview. Realism emphasizes power, liberalism focuses on mutual benefit. However, Marxism highlights class struggle and exploitation, and the idealism is grounded in ethics, law, and diplomacy. For the last part, conclusion. In the conclusion, idealism continues to play a crucial role in the study and practice of the international relation. Despite criticism that it is too optimized, idealism provides a powerful and hopeful framework for the understanding how a global peace might be achieved through a cooperative moral leadership and shared responsibility. It encourages states to go beyond narrow nation interests and think collectively about the future of the world. This theory has inspired the creation of the institutions such as the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the International Criminal Court. This body promote global health, security, and justice, is rooted in the idealist principle. The idealism also helped to shape international agreement like the Paris Climate Accords, which reflect global cooperative on shared challenges. Ultimately, idealism show us the why achieve global peace is not easy. It is a goal worthy strive for. Through diplomacy, law, and ethic conduct, we can work toward a more just, fair, and united international system. Thank you. That's all for me.